Hey, peeps! Today I'm bringing you a sci-fi horror flick called Alien Parasites. The teacher dude on the football field is all up in a huff with his students, and he flips a chair over like a mad cat. He's got some serious anger issues. Water starts blasting out of the pipes, and the coach sees a shady figure. The teachers are in a meeting, and things ain't going so great. The principal's not feeling their ideas for making the school better. The principal drops something and has to go back for it, and guess who's chilling in her office? The coach looking fine as hell. As the principal's freaking out over an embarrassing moment, a pencil stabs right through her hand. She grabs a key and smacks the coach with it. But when she tries to escape, she drops the key, and the door's locked. The principal tries to break out, but the coach is hot on her trail. She pushes him away and runs off with scissors. She sees Ms. Orson banging on the door outside, but she doesn't have a key either. So the principal goes back for hers. When she grabs the key, she hears Ms. Orson screaming. And there's the coach, standing at the end of the hall. The principal finally manages to escape and locks the door behind her. But then, Ms. Orson, who was just helping her, turns into some crazy person and stabs her to death. The school's in chaos. Jack pulls up in his ride, and he's stashing something. Two other cars smash into each other, and Cassie gets off the bus to see Delia and accidentally bumps into someone. He apologizes and admits like he was wrong. Stokely, who's nearby, this lady out for it. She was watching the other two girls fight and didn't pay attention, so she bumps into Stan and gives him crap for not watching where he was going. Stan's all confused and goes over to his girl Delia, wanting to give her a smooch, but she's not having it. Delia says she wants to work on her essay and doesn't want to talk, so it seems like things aren't so good between them. Then, some dude comes over and drags Stan away. A bunch of dudes start slamming chess pieces into the checkerboard, and it looks painful just to watch. Mary Beth, who's nearby, asks for directions to the office, so she might be a new student. Jack's selling fake ID cards in the bathroom and bragging about how smart he is. When two guys give him the side eye, he gives them a marker that the poor dude on the floor behind the wall is using to wipe blood from his nose. History teacher Tron is on his way to the office, while the coach is chugging water at the water fountain, and Mr. Furlong is creeping on Nurse Harper. Mr. Tron sees a broken air conditioner and curses, then pours some booze into a coffee cup. Mr. Furlong asks about the missing principal, and Mr. Tron's all like, maybe she died from heat stroke, even though the coach is still guzzling water like crazy. Then, Ms. Orson walks in, and the coach says, "Hey, Ms. Orson, looking good today." And Ms. Orson just smiles. Stan chatted up a girl and told her he'd quit football to focus on college prep, but Delia totally dissed him. She said only the football captain was worthy of her, and Stan was bummed. After getting drunk, Mr. Tron started teaching. After class, Mary Beth approached Stokely, who was reading a horror novel, wanting to be friends, but Delia swooped in and said Stokely was a lesbian, though Mary Beth was not. Cassie found a weird creature on the football field. Hugh unexpectedly showed up, took it and gave curt answers before leaving after being yelled at. When Stokely went to get a drink, she saw Coach Orson and another teacher talking, and they even closed the door. When she turned around and saw Stan, the two lovebirds started arguing again. Cassie went looking for Mr. Featherstone, wanting to know what he'd gotten. Mary Beth again approached Stokely, who said she wasn't a lesbian, just didn't want drama. After some research, Mr. Featherstone concluded it was a new species, and prepared to contact the university for research funding. Stokely accidentally spilled a cup of water while talking to a classmate, and the strange creature started moving after coming into contact with the water. Mr. Featherstone excitedly put it in the tank. The strange creature not only changed shape but also thinned out many tentacles. When Mr. Featherstone tried to take it out for emotional dissection, it opened up, revealing its teeth and bit his hand. Mr. Featherstone was about to call the university. At that moment, Stokely put her hand on the tank, and the strange creature reacted to the connection. During swim practice, Stan approached the coach, saying he wasn't ready to play football. The coach, who was usually hot-tempered, surprisingly didn't snap at him and said he understood. Stan was surprised but didn't think much of it and left. As Stan showered, a shadow appeared on the door, followed by a pair of hairy legs. Stan closed his eyes to wash his face, assuming it was Cassie but didn't see anyone in front of the door when he opened his eyes. He turned around and found Jessica taking off her shirt and calling for help. Cassie went to get help, and Jessica sobbed, her face covered in scars. Stan tried to comfort her but accidentally ripped off a large piece of her scalp, which frightened him and made him back away, while Jessica continued to reach out for help. In the office, Austin explained to Stan that Jessica was sick, and Cassie sobbed on the chair. Suddenly, she noticed water fountains on the soccer field were turned on, and someone was standing there. He took a camera to look and it was the coach, and Austin looked at him with a distant gaze after finishing talking. Jack was still dealing drugs, and Ms. Buck urged him to stop and focus on studying. But Jack ignored her advice. Delia was still worried about the headline in the newspaper. Cassie was also a member of the school newspaper club. He said that he had discovered a new creature, but Delia did not believe him. The two sneaked into the teacher's lounge to find the source of the trouble. Suddenly they heard voices and shadows approaching the door and they quickly hid in a closet. It must have been Austin and the coach. They drank water and chatted. Austin said that all the teachers and students in the school were ready. Then the nurse came in, and the two looked at each other, enough for us to understand that it was not a good thing. Finally, the veins on the coach's face tightened. Then he vomited a bug into the nurse's ear, which was the new creature. Cassie and Delia tried to hold back the urge to run out of the closet, but accidentally discovered Booker's body. Austin and the coach heard the noise but were knocked over by Cassie, ran out and met the principal and escaped. The principal was not dead yet, so there was no need to look back in a hurry. The three people in the lounge also came out. Cassie and Delia realized that something was wrong, so they hurried to run away. Cassie slipped and fell, and Delia ran away without looking back. I don't know why the group of teachers did not chase after them. Then Cassie called the police, but the police in the closet turned into Booker, and the nurse just went to the principal's house. The principal agreed to call the police to investigate the situation. Cassie's mother thought her son had a nervous problem and wanted to take him to a neurologist. At this time, they in the lounge saw the police coming out, and Cassie knew that the police had also been taken in. After hearing that the principal wanted to talk to his mother in private, Cassie used the excuse that he wanted to go see the doctor to get his mother out of the tiger's den. After returning home, his parents searched his room everywhere to find evidence that he was lying. They didn't believe what he said. The teachers were not the ones who thought he was crazy. While searching, they found that the wall was full of pictures of Delia. It turned out that Cassie had a crush on Delia. Cassie didn't want to go to school, but his parents made him go. Watching his parents leave, Cassie typed on the computer for a while and prepared to open the door to escape. Suddenly, he saw the teachers downstairs, scaring him and he fell down. Cassie's parents heard the noise and went out but saw no one. A figure appeared on the side of the window, and he slowly pulled open the door. Scared the next day, Cassie was forcibly taken to school, and when he turned around, he suddenly saw the coach talking to his father. The eyes of the two of them were very strange. It seemed that last night, his father had not escaped this disaster. Today, Delia is not as delicate as usual. She pulled Cassie into the bathroom, and the loudspeaker was looking for her. After the two of them talked, Cassie mentioned the teachers and students who he guessed had been possessed by the new creature, like some kind of evil cult. Delia couldn't stand it any longer and decided to go find Stan. By the time the coach reached the administrative office, the air conditioning had been fixed and there was no more coffee, only bottled water being sipped in the room. The school bell rang to signal the start of class, and the jerk snatched the students' headphones right off their head. He was holding a bottle of water in his hand and telling the students to write down their family tree on paper. They remembered that the professor used to drink whiskey. Jack pulled a vape pen out of his book locker. Mary Beth asked him what it was and Jack asked if she wanted to try it. Mary Beth said she was allergic. Jack seemed to accept her answer and the two chatted for a moment, the space between them seeming to shrink. Students were lined up outside the office and it looked weird to Stan and Stokely. Stokely walked over to the door to investigate. Stan ran into Cap. He asked Stan if he was mad at him for being team captain. Stokely saw the nurse walking toward the students carrying something, but it was shut off by the principal closing the door. Stan saw Orson bringing police into the school and Delia pulled him away. On the other side, Cassie saw Stokely and asking her for help. Mary Beth was walking with Jack and they saw a couple arguing and a boy's dull face. Beside the 4 water fountains that were lined up with students waiting for a drink, the 2 students that wanted to buy Jack's vape kept asking if it was his after he had sold them a bunch. Jack carefully hid it in his backpack and they didn't want to let him go. So Ms. Buck approached him from behind in strange appearance and after tripping over the high school steps, not only did she mock Jack's mother but shouted loudly at him, threatening him not to sell anymore. Other side, Cassie told Stokely about the strange differences in the teachers. He said they could have become hybrids, like the body snatchers that are possessed by aliens, but she thinks it was science fiction fantasy of him. Cassie thought the school was going to be overrun. Stokely said that the hybrids were parasites and usually lived in pods. Cassie said that it didn't look like pods and there must be something else. They went looking for Stan and Delia and they found that the species had disappeared. Cassie talked about the hybrid invasion theory. Delia and Stokely said the things happening in the school were strange, but Stan didn't believe them. Jack took Mary Beth to a lab to get some stuff to make vape juice and they started kissing. The intercom in the lab turned on and Jack heard it talking about doing something. Stan was starting to come around to the theory and then Jack staggered in, feigning a cough, with Mary Beth giggling behind him. The 6 of them were reunited. And then they ran into Mr. Furlong. Then Jack said that Cassie said he wasn't human and Stan said that none of the teachers were human. Mr. Furlong asked if that was true and started to pull the doors shut. They asked him where the creature's essence was. Teacher Furlong's response was sent to the university. Jack was not interested in participating anymore and prepared to leave. But Professor Furlong pulled him back and threw him aside, turning his head to gouge out Cassie's neck. Jack took the blade of a cutter and severed his finger but was still pinned down by him, the cut bleeding profusely. Jack stabbed him in the eye with a medicine. But Furlong's severed finger crawled up and strangled the remaining students in the room. Jack was immediately thrown into a water tank. At this moment, one of the medicines leaked, causing Professor Furlong's eyes to foam and fall out onto the table behind him. They saw that he was no longer moving, so they prepared to escape. Cassie took a glass jar to capture the surviving strange creatures that Professor Furlong had just vomited up. Everyone decided to go to the school's parking lot, but they all felt that something was not quite right. Those who were in the class all subconsciously raised their hands, and the couple who had been arguing started cuddling up to each other. And all the people they met stared at them intently. Finally, the group of friends escaped the school but encountered a police roadblock and quickly turned the car around to leave. The group went to Jack's house, which resembled a laboratory, complete with guns. Jack began to study the strange creature, and the group discovered that it could possess and control its host. But this was only the offspring. The new creature needed water. The principle of the medicine was that its diuretic properties would draw out the water, killing the creature. Stokely, drawing on her knowledge of science fiction, suggested that killing the creature's mother body would probably kill all of them. And the person who had been parasitized would return to normal. Delia kept wanting to run away, but Cassie felt that they needed to fight back against them. The group began to doubt each other's true identities. A taxi pulled up in the yard, and everyone decided to take a hit from the medicine to test their identities. Delia kept stalling until the end, wanting Marybeth to take a hit with her. The two just stared at each other, and finally Marybeth took a hit first, while Delia had already been infected. At this point, they could only pick up the guns to attack, but because of Cassie's sincerity, Delia pushed the medicine on the table to the floor and escaped. There wasn't enough medicine left, and the group decided to go find the mother body. The football game that was being held in the evening was taking place, and the creatures took the opportunity to invade the bodies of the opposing team. Stokely and Stan went to the football field and found that everyone in town was there. The two felt that it was very possible that the principal was the mother body. Stokely looked up and saw the principal and Orson, but it seemed that they had also been discovered by these two. The principal followed them to the gym and refused to cooperate when she was caught and given the medicine. Then, outside, there was a loud clap of thunder, and Jack jumped up to dodge the door. The same situation happened again. Cassie hesitated with the medicine, and Jack shot and knocked down the principal. But when he turned around to talk to her, she stood up, and the gunshot wound sprouted tentacles. Marybeth poured the medicine into her, and in the blink of an eye, the principal had turned into a rotting corpse. Then the gang go to the door to check if it's all clear yet. Stan decides to take one of the medicines outside to test it out. What if it was an alien mother and they were making things worse? Stokely looks at Stan and pulls him to her, giving him a kiss for good luck. When Stan gets to the gym, he sees all the tendrils out and people blissfully enjoying the rain. The rest of the gym group are oblivious. Stan rushes in, saying that alien mother isn't dead and that he lost the serum. They give him the last vial and he promptly spills it, realizing he has been infected. Cassie guesses that Coach is alien mother and Jack says there is serum in the back of the van, so the two of them leave to get the serum. Coach leads most of the team on patrol when the two of them run to the van and roll underneath it. Cassie acts as a decoy and gets into the van, but then realizes Delia is inside. He gets out via the roof vent. Jack gets to the back of the van, but before he can grab the serum, he is encountered with stupid Ms. Buck. As the Jack finds the serum in the driver's seat, he gets in and starts the van, but that stupid Ms. Buck smashes through the window and leans in from the back seat, her tongue darting at him. Jack is as quick as he is agile, and as he swerves to the left, then to the right, manages to buckle his seatbelt and slams into the side of the school bus, throwing Lady out of the van and causing the bus to explode, giving Jack the serum. What's left of Ms. Buck is just her head, which keeps moving, kind of like a small octopus, slowly moving toward the rest of her body, which slowly starts coming back together. After some hesitation, he decides to leave her and get out of there. Stokely is getting pessimistic back in the gym when Marybeth comes over to a surprisingly nice Stan and asks her if she's tired of being a hero all alone. Without waiting for her answer, she tells her she's too tired, and then, bam! She knocks Stokely out, and it turns out she is alien mother. Cassie grabs a hysterical Stokely and they run from the alien or creature Marybeth, with Stokely eventually getting knocked into the pool. Cassie runs around to the other side and pulls her out, running to the girls' locker room where alien mother returns to Marybeth's form. Jack arrives with the serum, not knowing what had just happened and looking at the two girls for confirmation, only to find out that Marybeth is the fake and she was pretending to be nice back at the house. Jack goes to attack, but Stokely stops him because it's a trap. Cassie grabs Stokely from behind and traps her in the closet while Jack makes Cassie test the serum on himself first since they see the shadow of alien mother and they can't keep up with her due to the serum she ingested. Jack gets thrown around and so does Cassie, getting his hair grabbed by Stokely, who we see now has an alien-looking arm. Cassie jerks back, breaking off his own hair and getting away. At this point, alien mother takes on a human form with a stride and tells Cassie to just let her take over since it's going to happen anyway. But Cassie takes the opportunity to run into the gym and presses the panic button. Swiftly running to the shelter under the stage, the body of the mother, too large, was blocked there, 3 syringes inserted, the body of the mother screamed in pain and died. A month later, the district member returned to his hot-tempered appearance. Jack and Ms. Buck seemed to have formed a forbidden love relationship. Stan and Stokely officially became lovers, and Cassie became a hero, also becoming the type of person that Delia likes. That's how the movie ends, so what do you think? If you liked it, comment #more. Thanks for watching our video, bye and catch you later.